It's been a month since the Alberta Teachers Union was legislated back to work by the Alberta government. And looking back, there's three big mistakes that the Alberta's Teachers Association made that made this result inevitable. Now, I'm in a union. I love unions. I feel like unions have served us very, very well in history, and I think there's specific cases in the modern day where unions are very effective. That being said, unions can still mess up. The first big mistake that the ATA made was that they didn't have enough money saved up in their war chest to be able to pay the teacher stipends. Now, there's some rumors that it's because they spent too much money on political advertising or giving it to the NDP. That's neither here nor there. It's their responsibility to make sure that they have enough money set aside, so that way when they go on strike, their members are not going to be stuck holding the bag if the strike goes on too long. The reality is, most Canadians have less than 1 month's worth of savings saved up. So it was inevitable that this strike wasn't going to be able to go the distance, since it was relying on the savings accounts of its members to finance it. Now, I admit the ATA also offered a $1,500 loan for those who are in emergency situations, but that's not enough. The second big mistake was that the teachers assumed that things would be like the way they were before COVID. Well, let's be honest, teachers have lost a lot of shine after COVID happened. Parents got a peek into the classroom and they saw a lot of things that they didn't like. Not that all teachers were running it that way, but it was enough to the point where parents now look at teachers with a bit of a side eye. They learned how to deal with having their kids at home full time. Not only that, summer just ended. It was still warm out. They can still send the kids out to play. It's not like it's February where they're stuck inside annoying their parents. The province also stepped in, offering $30 a day, which goes pretty far for providing childcare for kids during those working hours, which obviously didn't help the ATA. That was the second big mistake, is they assumed that parents would be outraged, and instead, parents found it more of a minor inconvenience. The third way the ATA messed up and made this inevitable is that they didn't have an exit strategy. Typically, when an employer and a union reach a point of impasse, it goes to what's called binding arbitration. And essentially what happens is the two parties sit down with the third party arbitrator. The arbitrator hears the case from the union, hears the case from the employer. Both of them submit their best final offers. And from there, the arbitrator typically picks one, usually makes a couple changes here and there, and then that's the contract that both parties are bound to. Historically, arbitration typically rules in favor of status quo. The Alberta government was already offering above status quo. So this puts the ATA in a situation where during collective bargaining, they would either have to drop their asking offer down to make it competitive, or they'd have to shoot for the moon and hope the arbitrator just randomly picks their contract. This is a situation that's absolutely a nightmare for a union. Typically when unions push for binding arbitration, it's when their employers looking to take things away from them, like how the railway workers were set to lose a lot during their contract negotiation last year. Ultimately, the ATA, it was their responsibility to set their teachers up for success in this strike, and instead they seem to have set them up so that way this was the inevitable result. If this was my union, I would definitely be looking at my leadership and going, what the hell?